Breaking into the music business is a unique journey for everyone, but the love of the music and the culture is the connecting tie.
These are the untold stories of how Canada's most prominent Black entertainment professionals got started in an industry that never sleeps.
I'm Alicia Ace West.
And I'm Trezor.
Welcome to Season 4 of Amplify. Change doesn't wait. Have you noticed that?
I have still.
It rewrites the rules while you're still trying to figure them out.
For Black creatives in Canada, adapting isn't really optional. It's survival. But here's the thing. Are you just adapting, or are you protecting what matters while building something that lasts?
That part. That's what we're talking about in this episode. How to navigate disruption without losing sight of yourself.
Every generation hits a new technology that threatens to erase what came before. AI might be the latest disruptor, but this story isn't new. Award-winning writer and radio broadcaster Jemeni has seen this before.
I think when it comes to AI, it's both an opportunity and a threat. There's no one thing that should really stop us, but we should also be aware of what the threats are. I'm going to age myself here, but it's like that song where they talk about video killed the radio star, right? It's like, for sure, but what's next? But how about the radio star becoming a video star, right? And going all over the world. And yes, that definitely crushed a lot of people. And I think, and artists and careers, but I think those were artists who were just like, that's it. And not willing to say, okay, how can I now use video? Even though I hate it, you know what I mean? Or, okay, it's not vinyl, how can I use this? So I think it's both. And I think we've got to see what the threats are, but also see how we can work with and around AI, I guess.
Artist manager and music consultant David Click Cox isn't worried about the rise of the machines. He's lived through every shift the industry's thrown his way. What he is watching out for is the loss of soul. Tech can make the process faster, cleaner, and smarter, but it still can't feel. At the end of the day, it's human hands and human hearts that give the music meaning.
You know, I was watching, who was that I was watching the other day? Oh, you know what? It was a CEO of Suno, which is an AI company. He was in an interview with another producer, and we're asking kind of a similar question, you know, is AI a threat or is it an opportunity? And really what it comes down to is both, you know? But at the end of the day, they're all tools, but there still needs to be a person and a soul to run that tool. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, I always use this reference. It's like, you know, when the drum machine came, all the drummers protested. Oh, they're gonna take my job. They're gonna take my job. Like, it was just another tool that people came in, and some people love working with drum machines. Some people are really good drummers, you know? And I'm sure some people lost some jobs because of that. You know what I mean? But if you're really good at a certain tool, people will sought you out for that because you know how to use it in a particular way that make people really want to use it, you know? I think AI is amazing from a standpoint of like the different things to make things more efficient, but I still think that it's like, you still have, there's a certain brain and emotion and soul that needs to dictate what it is that you want out of it. You know what I'm saying? So there still needs to be a technician there. I think the fear is the terminator of it all. You know, it's like, are they gonna turn against us? And that's like, you know, that this has been a fear actually since Star Trek. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's like, this is just the norm. Like we've always, that's just like society and how we view technology and the worrisome about it, you know? But for me, I'm for it, but I'm also like very cautious of how it's being used.
Kwame, better known by his DJ name Summer Knox, lives between two worlds, tech and artistry. And he's proof that they don't have to be enemies. The power isn't in the tool, it's in who's holding it.
I spent a lot of time working in tech. Growing up, like after university, I was working at Apple and Apple retail, and I always got to like lead, you know, testing for products and software. And, you know, I was always aware AI was coming down the pipeline. And even working in a music tech company and being aware of AI coming down the pipeline on the music side. I think with technology, the issue is, as humans, we're afraid of acknowledging it. I guess maybe because of iRobot or any of those shows or movies that can really show because at the end of the day, like the possibilities are endless. But at the end of the day, AI is a computer. It'll do what it's told to do. So it's all about the information you're feeding it. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable at all because having experience in tech, you're just always used to playing with things. And even to this day, I've kind of only used it to like make things better, whether it's a process or a document, or even with DJing and how they built it into the software. You know, if I wanted to get an acapella, for example, for a song, the like amount of money or work I would have to put in to even get it prior to maybe 3 years ago, so much. But now I can literally download an MP3 or WAV file and press a button and it just processes itself, right? So I don't know, I think it's just, what do you want it to do for you? I think that's what it is. The possibilities are endless. And to be honest, I don't care to test all the way, but for what I needed to do, I'm comfortable with using it and, you know, operating it.
Sisters and artists Haviah Mighty and Omega Mighty each have their own take on what AI means for music, but in the end, they find common ground.
I feel like what scares me about it is the side where the creativity is being replaced by AI. You know, I think that's what's scary because obviously that's what we do. And, you know, as much as I would love to say that people are not going to pull up for, you know, AI concerts and holograms and this and that, like, I don't actually know what people are going to do in 5 to 10 years. So, but if we can provide a value that, like, the human element, the thing is AI is trying to replicate the human element, and it's proving to be very difficult to do that.
It's irreplaceable.
You know what I mean? I hope so. I really hope so. I really feel so.
I really, like, AI has been around for a lot of time. I don't want people to like feel like, oh, AI is a brand new concept. It's not. It's here with us. But what happened is now we have access on our personal devices in a way we never had before, right? Yeah. So we would have to rely on some type of system before, but now it's like you have ChatGPT. You can literally be like, yo, I just went through this. Give me ideas for how to do this. It's a very different concept, but like, as amazing as that is to have, you know, information, you know, spit back to you or regurgitated to you, dare I say, like, there's also a lot of negative that comes with it. Who's validating that information? Like, so, like, it's a blessing and a curse. And like yeah, exactly. Like, I went to a conference the other day. I was in Germany, and I was sitting in on a session where there was a bunch of entrepreneurs that were pitching their business ideas, and this was a music conference. This was for Reeperbahn, actually, and they're all pitching their ideas to this panel, and every single one of those pitches had AI included in their model, their systems. It could have been like a platform, you know, that was for, you know, contact information for music bookers, yada, yada, yada. So many different and really cool things. And I think, like, you know, there are really cool ways in which we can use AI. Like, for sure, it gets integrated into things. It's gonna pull data that already exists, amalgamate it, and save you time on creating an Excel table, because nobody wants to sit down and do that no more, right? Makes sense. But to replace the human element, no, because when I go to a concert, I want to see the artist in their element. I want to see them perform. I want to see their sweat. I want to see their tears. I want to feel their heart. So personally, that's kind of what I think. Yeah, opportunity and threat, though. Both.
Keziah Myers, music executive and culture builder, has a way of grounding every conversation in truth.
Black people are like the most creative people in the world. The Black community, the African diaspora, has had to consistently, for 400 years plus, be creative, because so many times doors are shut, and because doors are shut, they have to find a way around, and in doing that, that pressure and those doors shut give so much more motivation to just do it and then do it better.
For Jemeni, the future isn't just about who creates, it's about who gets access. Because talent without opportunity is a locked room with no key.
If I could change one thing about how the industry works today, it would definitely be more access. I've come to realize that I've been in a very privileged space that a lot of people haven't been in, where the majority of my jobs, I worked in all Black spaces where culture was important. And especially when you're starting, I know how crippling it can be, because we walk around feeling like the only one in so many spaces. So when it comes to those workspaces and creative spaces, it's an amazing thing to see yourself reflected. And I wish there were more opportunities for people like that, because I see how rare that is in Canada, not only to have them, but for them to stay.
And for Keziah, visibility isn't a favor. It's her right.
CRTC has engaged the entire industry to look at an act that hasn't been reviewed in 25 years. The Radio Act has now become the Online Streaming Act. Advance was the lobbyist that actually added Black to legislation, which is the first time in the history of Canada that that's been done, where the word Black as it pertains to the community is now in legislation. It being in legislation means that we can always point back to that. So it holds people accountable. In order for us to ensure that that is centered and prioritized, I can point to the piece of paper that says you have committed to focusing on the Black community and other racialized people. It also means that you work within the space, and that means working with the CRTC. So we advise the CRTC, we participate in legislative interventions, we ensure we're submitting for all of the opportunities, for all of the interventions that are to come, and take all the opportunities we can to ensure that we're in conversation. And then we're just talking to people and reminding them that there's a lens that maybe you don't have understanding about. There's a group that maybe you're not so in tune with, and they need a voice. And so Advance is that voice.
But systemic change is only half the equation. The other half?
Recognizing the people already doing the work and building with them, not around them.
The one thing I would change is recognition. I've come from tech cultures that have prided themselves on always recognizing good work. I think coming up as a young Black music professional, there wasn't many places I could go to find who was being recognized for their work. Because if I know who's doing good work, I almost know who I could reach out to. And I know they've come from a pathway that I could align with and understand. But outside of Polaris Music Prize, Juno Awards, and that's just for musicians, but for music professionals, business, there isn't an award system, and outside of award system, there's no recognition. There's nowhere to find recognition. If I needed to know who was the best manager in 2025 and which artist they met, there's no place for that. So I think recognition, would probably be the first thing I would change, or on a yearly basis, end of the year, these are the managers we need to shout out from the Black space, male, female, whatever the case may be. Yeah, recognition. I think that's where I would start.
I mean, I guess to be vulnerable, it might be being aged out. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to be the old guy in the club, which I am, I'm DJing with people that are my son or even younger than my son, So I think there's times where, but I wouldn't say it keeps me up at night. It's a reality. And I think I'm just trying to, there was a quote before, and I know, when I posted this, somebody had reached out to me and was like, yo, that's dope. And it was like, a candle doesn't lose its flame by lighting another candle, right? So I'm not trying to gatekeep or keep anybody out. It's if I shine a light on you, it doesn't dim what I do. You know what I mean? I want you to get better, because the better you are, the better the scene is, the better everything grows. So I feel like while I worry about being viewed as just the old guy in the scene, I think, I don't know if it keeps me up, but yeah, that would be something that jumped in my head when you asked that.
For Canada's reggae and dancehall ambassador Spex Da Boss, there's power in listening to the people who've been there, done that, and learned the hard way.
I feel that mentoring is needed, and the reason why I feel that it is needed, because coming up, especially in reggae and dancehall music, there wasn't too many people doing what I do, so I had to really carve out a road and a lane for myself and chop down a lot of trees, so people such as myself and others within especially the Caribbean entertainment part of the industry, it's very important that we turn around and mentor other people. I got some great advice from my father one time, a long time ago, that said that when he stops running, he helps me so that when he stops running, that I'll be able to carry him. And I think that's very important, especially when it comes to mentorship, because we all are here for a limited time. And when it comes to, especially in this industry, there's evolution and it's like a revolving door. So it's important to help the younger ones out there so that when I'm weak or I'm not able to run or not able to carry on, then hopefully they'll be able to carry me on their back and be able to bring me to the places I need to be, and hopefully be able to talk about me and the legacy that, I left and the things that I've done, and be able to use that to inspire and motivate others after me and them.
Keziah Myers has a message for the next generation, one that's equal parts affirmation and a reminder to take up space.
Celebrate your wins, whatever those wins are. Wins are not necessarily accolades. Wins are not necessarily what the industry deems as a win, but live in the moment and celebrate it and then talk about it. I think one thing that I've learned that I would share with one of my students and others coming up is the more you talk about what you've done, the more you can grow, but also the more you can collaborate with like-minded people. If you're hiding success, which many women are taught to do, and definitely from a cultural standpoint, I have been taught to do, then nobody really knows. And if they don't know, then they don't know to come to you to build more. And so I think what I would say is celebrate your wins, stay in the moment, put your phone down, watch a concert in real life without, filming it, and celebrate. And if celebration means boast, be okay with that. Because at the end of the day, you celebrating what you've done and sharing with people the experiences you have gets you to what's next.
Emcee Ebone, the voice of the culture, has been in enough rooms to know progress doesn't happen alone.
I feel like everybody has a unique story. Everybody, whether you're from, especially being in Canada where we're very multicultural, I feel like for instance, I can speak Punjabi. And that was just because I was living in Brampton. A lot of Indians were around me, and I found it cool that they were just everywhere when I went to work, when I went to school. So I'm like, okay, if these are the people around, why don't I learn the culture? And anywhere I go, any Punjabi I see, I speak their language, they're shocked. So I feel like it just shows growth. And when you travel the world, you understand these experiences, these places you go, you can learn so much and it can benefit your life. So I think that it's necessary for us to understand that there's different cultures that we can tap in. And in the space that I'm in, being the voice of the culture, you kind of have no choice to kind of tap into these different markets and spaces to elevate and grow.
The future of Black creativity in Canada isn't defined by algorithms or borders. It's in the people who keep adapting.
Who speak up when it's uncomfortable, who open doors instead of guarding them.
From Click's realism
to Ebone's call for unity.
The next wave is already here.
And the sound? Sounds like us.
Next time on Amplify, we explore how reinvention keeps the culture moving forward, beyond any platform or algorithm.